Another episode of Unoya, where our mission is to foster awareness of mental health within the business sector. My name is Irene, and joining us today are co-founders of Kiuloper. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Absolutely. Hi everyone, my name is Samina. I'm the co-founder of Kiuloper and also content creator. I graduated U of T in 2022, and then shortly after graduating started working on Kiuloper with Mohammad. And then since October of last year, I've been focusing on full time ever since. And
Hi everyone, I'm Mohammad and the co-founder of Kiuloper. I guess I graduated a year after in 2023, and I take care of a lot of the tech clients and branding clients.
I love that. So do you want to tell me about how you started and how Kiuloper became a thing?
Yeah. So I kind of founded the company in officially was founded in 2019, but technically I was operating under a different name from 2014.
Oh wow.
And kind of the inspiration or the idea why it was made was I kept on noticing a lot of I'm someone that is very visual and a graphics person, and I wanted to just have my own blog at the beginning and just post content and keep people entertained. But then I realized there aren't really a lot of themes and designs and styles for my personality or my audience. And from there I started learning how to make one, grow one, and then from there people were like, oh my god, your website looks so cool, who did it? And I'm like, oh, I did it myself. So it started building from there, and the more and more I built and learned, I realized there are more problems and difficulties in the industry that are not being solved. And that's kind of where Kiuloper evolved. Exactly. And it did get to the point where I wasn't able to do everything because the company was an all-in-one creative agency that is meant to do everything. And that was when Samina came in.
And the way that I came in was actually funny. So after graduating, Mo and I was just casually talking about how the things are going and everything, and I just told him that I'm starting an agency of my own. And then it was supposed to be called Brandify at the time, and then Mohammed stepped in and was like, why won't we do it together? Like, I need a co-founder anyways. And then a lot of the things is already solved, so I don't have to take care of the legal aspect of it. It's just a lot of problems solved in the process of incorporating a business. So, and also having a partner with whom you can share all the business and everything has been really, honestly, making the process a lot easier to manage everything. Because we just face everything together, we problem solve together, we advise each other, we utilize each other's both networks and skill sets, which has been really crucial and working out really well. And yes, since 2022 we've been working together, and the only thing that was just, although we kept the name, we could have changed it as much as I wanted to, but we decided to change the branding a little bit just to signify the step in of a new co-founder. And ever since we've been working well, annoying each other.
I love that. So it sounds like you started at UTM, right?
Yeah,
that
actually.
Is really inspiring.
Yeah, the way we met was through work.
Yeah, so the company, I already had the company before I even started university. But the way that we met was we actually worked at the career center at the University of Toronto.
Shout out.
In the marketing
assistants.
We're sitting in the office together, roasting each other.
Yeah, we kept on roasting each other's
and
work.
That is insane.
No, this is how we knew that we worked well together.
And we challenge each other. Right?
Exactly. And then this is why when this opportunity came through, it was an easy decision for us to, sure, absolutely. I trust him, he trusts me. We know each other's values and know how we work. So it was just an easy, usually it takes a lot more consideration to stepping in or starting a business with friends, because there has been so many stories where from my friends and conflicts, but we kind of it felt like a confident 100% decision.
I can see your bond just walking in,
we just roast each other.
It's just a fun part. It's the most exciting part of our weeks are when we get on calls and start by having a 10-minute roast, and then it falls into roasting each other's clients.
Honestly, I love that.
anyhow.
Yeah.
But we still respect and appreciate them. It was just, again, in any process, there's really picky clients, really clients who are creating trouble, and there has been clients who have been a breeze and really a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
So he's talking about the clients who are really micromanaging and is really tricky to work with, but they're worth the partnership and the project. So we are being real patient and face that with lots of patience and positivity.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go back to when you were sort of building this at UTM. So were you juggling classes when you were working on this?
I am very well known for being someone that can do a lot of things at once.
Oh my god, tell me about it.
I was a full-time computer science student doing my specialist.
Oh my god.
I was maintaining 2 part-time jobs, including the career center.
Oh my god.
And running the company. And I would say pretty much the same thing was with
been
you.
A problem, yeah.
Yeah.
No sleep.
No sleep.
No sleep.
Samina was, I don't want to speak on for your behalf, but I believe like you were also a full-time student doing DEM.
That's exactly, yeah. But that's one of the things that we bonded is like our lack of sleep and overcommitment to many things.
Our lack of having a life other than what we do for our own future.
Except I had a social life. Like
She did have a social life. She did have a social life, I would say. At that point, to be honest, she didn't have the company, right? So I was kind of sacrificing the social life for
except
the company.
I had other jobs.
But yeah, she did have.
That was worth.
You did have more jobs than me.
It was 3 at some point. 3
Yeah.
part-time.
I capped it at 2.
While being full time, which is crazy.
That's all insane though, like that you guys were doing all of that. So it was probably a long time ago then, but do you remember like what helped you juggle all of this and what helped you sort of balance your mental health during this process?
Somehow the passion is what kept you going. You're like, I kind of knew I knew that I had a limited time in university and I wanted to make the most out of it. I was just like, okay, while I'm a student, this is the time, the best time for me to try different things and make mistakes. If I fail, it's not going to be like a big deal because I was just like, okay, I'm still young. This is my excuse to make mistakes. I was like, I actually want to make mistakes. I want to try this, get involved.
Like the mindset of embracing mistakes, allowing yourself to learn.
With that is like I was willing to like sacrifice sleep. I do not recommend this, absolutely not. But at the time, it is something that I was okay with. It's just like a lot of organization, time management at the time, and the eagerness. Once you're super, super eager and passionate about something, you first of all glow differently, and then you also you feel it's hard to explain, but you have this rush of energy that you're like everywhere. I was always like on campus, here and there, between this amount of on this building, there's this event, sometimes downtown, just running between places. But then now I'm looking back, I was just like, this is completely opposite of what I do right now. Oh, no, I still do that.
It's still the same thing.
I still do that, but
it's just under one umbrella.
PR events, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's just not. It's different locations. PR events are different hats. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's why I was like under the Kiuloper entrepreneurial hat. There's not much because everything is remote and everything is just. We don't go to events. Sometimes we like host. Or we don't host. We speak at events. Sometimes we go to like events that we get invited to for like networking. But aside from that, everything we do, all the work is remote. Just like seasonal stuff. Sometimes we have like lunches and dinners together, discussing strategy and everything. But under the content creator, I'm always at the events. Never mind. That still happens. It's just a part of my personality.
It sounds like you genuinely enjoy it, so that's why you're able to keep going.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I wanted to reiterate that at the end of it all, the reason why we're allowed to juggle and do all of this is because we genuinely enjoy what we're doing. And
the freedom.
It's even though it is limiting, it is also opening a lot of new opportunities and freedoms. For example, the fact that we're not locked to a 9 to 5.
Yes,
it's now 9 to 12 in the morning.
More. It can be at 2 a.m. It can be at 2, 3 a.m.
But I feel like the other thing is also we really hold each other accountable. I remind her if something is due, if she will remind me if something is due, we keep each other aligned. And at the end, like as much as I'm joking that, okay, we get on call and like make fun of our clients, but realistically, that is a debriefer that helps us navigate and
suggest practices.
Yeah, because
and recommendation to each other.
Yeah, it helps us make remind each other of why we're doing this and the impact that we have on the industry and on other people's life, and it just pushes us to be able to keep each other accountable and impactful and motivated to continue. Because if we weren't there, like if Samina wasn't there, I would have probably like already burned out a much longer time ago and even probably considered closing the business. It's just someone to be there to not have to deal with confidential information and not worry about it and have someone to talk to.
Having someone you can rely on.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot.
So it sounds like your next advice is basically to surround yourself with people who are there for you, who you can rely on.
That's one
to
part
get you through the journey.
It's definitely very difficult especially again when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I said there's a lot of information you're not going to be able to share with even a therapist.
Exactly.
But having someone that you genuinely trust and also they're intellectually on the same level, that you can have a proper conversation and a debrief, it really helps. It really helps.
Yeah, it's just like helping each other whenever we're feeling stuck. Like when we voice it out, we actually, it's like having the same, untangle it together, because we have similar mindsets and understandings. And expertise wise is like we are good at our own like niches, for example, right? Like, and then we complement each other because overall it's still connected to the same strategy of driving sales or increasing business exposure, brand exposure, developing a brand, just thinking long term. So it's just great to have, I guess.
Yeah. Well, following on to that, I think the next question I had was sort of, do you have any advice for students who don't really know what they want to do right now? Because I know you guys really enjoy what you're doing, but I know that a lot of our viewers could probably relate to saying that they don't know what they want to do and they haven't found something that they're passionate about. Do you have any advice for that?
I've always been trying new things. Again, as I said, in university, I was I knew that this is my time. Although I did have an idea that I always wanted to go into marketing because I started the process when I was a teenager, when I was 13, 15. So I always knew what I wanted to do, but it has been becoming much clearer as I was trying new things, because I tried I tried accounting. I was I realized I don't enjoy it. I can do it, I don't enjoy it. I don't think I can wake up passionately about it every day. Rather than just also continuing I tried the content creation, blogging, and then that actually I wouldn't have expected it would change.
So I think now stemming away from the beginning initial stages of Kiuloper, can you tell me more about sort of your everyday life and what kind of things you deal with on a daily basis?
Well, I mean, right now, because thankfully I don't take care of marketing, it's a lot of consultations now. It's a lot of project management. I'm at a stage where we're hiring a lot of employees for the company, and I stay away from coding now and try to really delegate and work with a team of developers to get the job done. So most of my time, to be honest, gets spent on consultation call, team meetings. Really, that last week, I think I was not able to do anything other than open up my computer and go to Zoom.
God.
That is all I've been doing for the whole week, last week.
Wow. And how was that on your mental health?
I mean, I enjoy it, know? So sometimes it's stressful because not all of those consultation calls end up well. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned. Sometimes the client isn't happy. And and you have to deal with it. Yeah.
How do you adapt? Do you have some rituals or practices that you do to sort of take care of yourself after things haven't gone the way you wanted it to?
And this is something I've actually learned when I was not even doing the company. Before I started the company, I was working at Burger King as a cashier.
Oh, wow.
So as a part-time high schooler. So I learned this lesson there that most often than not, if a client or someone who you're talking to is angry, they're not angry at you.
They're angry at the situation.
They're angry at either some misfortune in their own situation, some misunderstanding on their aspect. Most often than not, it's not your fault. Yeah, so every time there is a situation like that, I always remind myself before I lash out or write a very angry email, I'm like, listen, it is not my fault. It's definitely some misunderstanding, and it's our job to be able to resolve the situation. But also, like, and I think we both resonate to this, we both really love going to the gym and beating something up in there.
Yeah, and that's so, I think, like, taking care of your physical body, right? It's very, like, closely tied with your mental health.
Yeah, because I remember there was a stage where, like, every time we would get on a call, it's either she's on a treadmill or I'm running with.
I love that though. I love that.
Flexible meetings.
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
that's the comfort level you reach with that's not a perk of like having a person that like is like-minded and that you feel comfortable with and you trust. Is like you're super, like, you don't have this like you can set up a standard of meeting up professionally over call, but like I think it's counterproductive. And we just sync whenever there's an opportunity. We even sometimes we can sync throughout the week. Whenever we just need to discuss something, we just hop on a call. He's really fast responsive. I'm not so much because I have events and I have a lot. But no, but that's another thing that I feel like works really well. But in terms of like my like days, it's like it's a little bit different from Mohammed's because mine is like also accounting for the content creator hat too. Because so the way that I try to structure my day is like I don't stick by hours, although except for meetings in the afternoon. In the first half of the day, like 9 to 12, I usually try to focus on the technical projects, or sometimes coordinate with our interns or employees that also work under the marketing portfolio projects. In the afternoon, it's all for meetings and then syncs, sometimes with clients, sometimes with each other. We just refine the strategy, do research something to better the company, or something for the company. And then the evening is always filled for me like with PR events, which is my content creator hat. Like I just like there's tons of events in Toronto, brand activations, some launch, etc. So usually just go to that, and then come home. I usually go to the gym actually late at night, so sometimes we even sync there. So it's like 9 to 12 midnight. I usually go to the gym just because it's also emptier too. And then the day repeats this way too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you have a routine and.
Somewhat. I try to.
It helps to find yourself accountable to some kind of schedule. You're not always going to be able to follow it, but it's important to.
Yeah, especially doing travels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't stick to hours, except for meetings. Meetings are always in the afternoon. That's why I do it in the afternoon. So in the middle of the day, I'm definitely not too sleepy, not too tired. It's just perfect time. And then it's just kind of the way that it works. And as Mohammed said, like, you know, sometimes we can get to work in the midnight or like, you know, past midnight. Sometimes I cannot sleep and I just, might as well work. It's not necessarily healthy, but the way, knowing myself, I know that sometimes I have these spikes of productivity. And once I feel that spike, I take advantage of it. I do as much as I can because I know that sometimes I may not feel, that's another luxury of having your own business or being your own boss, is that you don't have to feel obligated that you have to perform between these hours. Like I know that, okay, I'm not feeling well right now, I'm gonna go take a walk. So I usually go for walks or even sometimes go like to the gym in the daytime when no one is there because everyone's working. And then just come back and then I feel more productive, much better, and then I continue working. Sometimes I feel much more productive at night, which is beyond 9 p.m. and then I go to the gym if I want to the gym earlier. So it kind of fluctuates this way, but the only thing that cannot change is meeting times. Obviously with clients it's a standard. You have to still like live up to that and adapt to their schedules.
Just like having like that room to let your body breathe. So just listening to your body and your mind. If you want to work at a certain time, even if it's at 2 a.m., just letting yourself do that. And if you feel like, oh, today I need a break, again, letting yourself take a break as well. Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. How about you? Do you have any sort of advice for students who might be sort of struggling to sort of balance their mental health?
It's just really reminding yourself why you're doing all of what you're doing, right? And finding what works for you as a break. Again, for us being that it might be a walk, going to a gym. Sometimes for me it's simply just I want to take a piece of paper and maybe paint and stop looking at a bunch of code. You know, it's really finding something
you're passionate about.
Yeah, that you're passionate
do
about,
so.
that is not relevant to your work, just so you can take a bit of a break, and then when you have the energy back again, you jump back into it. Yeah.
And looking back, do you feel like there was a correlation between what you enjoyed as a child is like what you genuinely feel passionate about doing now, or just trying to see how maybe your viewers could find what they're passionate about?
A lot of things, like in the, I don't remember which book I read it from, but like they said, like it's always people end up like the things that you enjoy doing as a child end up like resurfacing once you get older, whether as a hobby or the things that fulfills you. The dreams that you may have had, like they somehow reemerge. So I think, I mean, in my case, it hasn't been exactly that, because the way that I started was, as I mentioned, like I started my whole like, journey within the marketing started like around 13 years old. First, it all stemmed from being passionate about understanding the psychology of how a consumer behavior works. I would always kind of like pay attention to the kinds of offers that shops or brands usually have, and then try to analyze how they make the people, you know, spend, or why they're proposing this offer at this time, which is a really weird thought to have in teenagers when you're 12 or 13. It's like, but then you kind of like you start playing around with this, because then I think one of the things that I had the also like you said privilege is like my mom had a business of her own, and I had this opportunity to step in and build a website for her, handle her social media, think of the ways that to attract more clients into her business, right, and how to market it. So this is when I kind of like stepped on, you know, this whole marketing journey, became passionate about what to do. But from my childhood times, I think I really loved showcasing the world through my lens, which ended up being content marketing for me today. And like, that's why I did like photography and videography professionally when I was like 15. I was actually freelancing a lot. I took clients. Yeah, I was like, I was quite a nerd. So I was saying, but it's this is how so you know, my interest in psychology of the consumer behavior and connected to how to create content that makes you want to either buy or feel or get interested about what the business is about. Then that's up today. It kind of came up as for our clients or as my content creator hat, right? So it's like a lot of businesses reach out to me for me to work with them, not through Kiuloper, but as a content creator, just to do a review of their plays, or you know, in exchange for like they pay me, but for the editing, for the talent, but also like complimentary, I know, like just services and etc. So it's kind of interesting to see how that.
So it does sound like with reflecting on like what your childhood experiences were and what your childhood interests were, that there may be a correlation there. So I think that's something that our viewers, and especially even me, like we could all just take a minute to sort of look at.
I think one thing that I wanted to highlight was when Samina said that creativity, and that she was creative. And I think at the end of it all, we are creatives. And we just happen to choose what we're good at and we're able to be creative in, and try to see how we can make money from it. As Samina said, like now there is a certain level of expectation and professionalism and style in her work that people enjoy. And just the same thing goes for me. There is a specific style when it comes to, if a client comes to me for branding or a website, there's a style to my work that people can immediately recognize, and they come for that, and they pay the premium for that experience and that style. You know? And it's just really being creative and exploring. Again, going back to having the privilege of being able to explore.
And the thing is, it's exactly what, like, there's a concept of T-shaped marketer that I always like kind of talk about, is because the concept relies on the fact that you have the foundational knowledge of how each marketing function, or just it applies to any profession, but say talking about it in the marketing sense, you have like, you know, understanding of a little bit of SEO, a little bit of website development, a little bit of social media, a little bit of branding, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of sales, funnel, and then you're really good at one like category of it, right? So like it could be like, for me it's like digital marketing and content marketing. For him it's more of a technical side, which is like developing websites, right? And so T-shaped marketers is what you're gonna kind of helps you thrive in a career, because understanding this knowledge while being professional in one specialization allows you to have this holistic understanding of how the whole strategy is like, you know, reflected in your work. And that's how like it just, you know,
Yeah.
just really important to have
Yeah.
that too.
Well, as we're closing, I think I had one question I wanted to ask. Actually, two. So the first one would be, if you had to describe Kiuloper in 2 words, what would it be?
2 words?
2 words.
So we actually, it's part of our brand.
Okay.
Like branding is like transparent, secure, and
I mean, for us, it's more transparency, inclusivity, and really being creative and innovative.
in the heart.
But really, we really strive on the whole transparency and inclusivity
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
what we call Kiuloper.
Because we when we work with clients, we really see ourselves as partners because their success is our success. And like if our client is not doing well, we're not doing well. So same like the challenges in the current economy right now, how we're having a lot of budget cuts directly affects us, and we're finding ways together with our client in troubleshooting it and making sure that their business thrives. Because if they thrive, we thrive too. And that's the thing where transparency is key for us. It's like when we have transparency and trust with our client, it tends to be like a much smoother process. And that's what our clients usually come for us for.
I love that. And I think the other question was just out of my personal curiosity. I wanted to know where the name Kiuloper comes from.
So okay, here's the thing.
I didn't like it.
This was me in high school, literally between lunch breaks, trying to take a piece of paper and come up with different names. I let her when she joined the company. I was like, we can change the name. More than happy to.
It's okay.
And then she felt guilty. She's like, I'm already changing the brand. I'm not gonna change the logo, the name.
No, we changed the logo.
We changed the logo. But basically, originally, again, my intention was to make a company that was only doing website development.
Okay.
That was it.
Yeah.
So I was like, what am I good for? I'm good for my quality of work. So I took the first letter being Q, and I spelled it out. Q is Kiu, and then Loper is the last few letters for the word developer.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm so
Developer.
glad.
And then when I wrote it, it looked nice. I was like, this looks nice. It sounds fun.
But people have trouble pronouncing it.
People have fun pronouncing.
Let them.
That's fine. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There's a Q. What?
Yeah.
They'll remember it because of that.
Yeah, the people remember it, and then from there, basically, that was when we started. I started experimenting with different fields, and then added more things. But really, the foundation was just a web developer.
Wow.
Quality developer.
Yeah.
I love that. That is so creative, and I think that's the perfect last question to ask because it ties everything together: the creativity, the passion. So yeah, it was really, really nice to have you both here. I know you came all the way from downtown. So I really do appreciate your time, and best of luck with all the clientele you have in the future. Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in again, as always. And I think you can check out their Instagram accounts at
Kiuloper,
Kiuloper.
as it is, the only one.
Thank you
Perfect.
guys.